It's funny, I was really just talking about this the other day. Like I used to say, man, I wish there was a way that I could have, not only known but understand how to apply these lessons to their appropriate situation. But that's crazy. Like there would be no way that I would be this person that I am without having actually gone through it, without having that experience. To say my 20s have been filled with a bunch of lessons is really an understatement. But what I've done is gone ahead and list basically the five most important that I've, reflected on. And everything else within that time frame are really just byproducts. The first one we're gonna get into is your reactions. Now, this one, I don't even know where to start. And I'm specifically talking about situations that are out of your control. Like if you're the cause of a situation, then that takes some self-awareness, and that could probably be a completely different video on its own. But for situations that are outside your control, monitoring your reactions to that situation will either make it worse or make it better. I use an example that I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, and that's friends that may not have your best interests, toxic relationships, or just negativity overall. How you react to that situation is gonna determine how much effect that experience weighs on you. I remember I used to vent about how much this negativity was affecting me, but I kept getting told no one has control over your emotions. Stop allowing negativity to have, this much power over you. Consider long term, is me reacting to this, in this way worth my energy? Instead, focus on solutions, to that negative experience. Which actually brings me to my next point, which is focus on what's meant for you. I went through a lot of jobs throughout my 20s, and at first it used to bother me. It used to bother me a lot. And to the point where I wouldn't focus on, solutions, and I would just harness on what happened, where did I go wrong, and all stuff that doesn't matter really. What I realized, from these jobs was that, maybe this just wasn't the right fit. This one is interesting because I learned, by trying to figure out what's the difference between persistence and when to let go. And believe it or not, this one is pretty straightforward. Like if you keep going through the same thing without showing any signs of inching towards some type of progress, then that situation, that experience is just not meant for you. And those are strong signs that you need to recognize and pay attention to, and then let it go. I stayed in a relationship too long because I didn't pay attention to this. And I was also getting strong signs with jobs that I should have quit months ago, and then friends that stayed in my life way longer than they should have. This kind of goes hand in hand with your reactions. Like if you're able to control or manage your reactions, then you're able to pay attention to signs that are letting you know to focus on what's meant for you. And for me, that's always been a peace of mind. Number 3 is people can only meet you as far as they have met themselves. I'll simplify this one too, right? If you're familiar with that saying, real recognize real, basically what that's insinuating is that if you're able to recognize these certain qualities within yourself, then you're able to easily recognize that in others. Another way of looking at this is people project how they view the world onto you, but don't allow those views to taint your own perception. It's funny because that leads me to the next one, which is it's okay to adopt different views. I used to hear often growing up that once you reach a certain age, you're done. Like that's it, that's who you are, and it's just no more growth. And in my head, I was always thinking to myself, that sounds like a choice. If you want to be someone who chooses to stamp themselves as I know everything, then you're gonna be stuck. Because the world is constantly changing, inspiration comes from different avenues, and there's always something that you don't know. Through different views are we able to shape our perspective and creativity. The last one is expect nothing, appreciate everything. Expect nothing is really a mindset shift to share your gifts, knowledge, and just overall essence with the world because that's who you are. Appreciate everything means be prepared to accept all that is deserved, from lessons to connecting with the right people. The more I grow and realize, it's important to understand and accept life's experiences for what they are. And the real secret behind expect nothing, appreciate everything is you just focus on what you can control and you don't let life's experiences consume you. Instead, you take life's experiences and apply that towards other actions in the future that you can control. But I'm curious, are you focusing on what's meant for you? Are you accepting life's experiences? Do you manage your reactions well? Let me know in the comments if you are, if this is something you're struggling with. It'll possibly give me some ideas for, to expand on in future videos. And make sure I go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.